let you go. There's no way. I'm already still burning. So hold me close. Now, baby, I do what I'm told. Still learning to take my chances, to take my time, to keep on dancing, to walk that line. Yeah, you got me shifting the paradigm. No longer wishing, you're my lucky strike. Love the way you ride. Look into my eyes, say you're ready to go. $1 million life, yeah, we could roll the dice. Act like you surprised, but you already know. Oh yeah, got lucky overnight. Jackpot when I got the invite. Let me wrap my arms around you, cause I can't go home without you. And my heart just vibe with you, babe. Wanna go sky high with you, babe. Gotta bring you close to tell you that you're my lucky strike. And I got to tell you, if you didn't know, then I got to tell you that you're my lucky strike. And I got to tell you, if you didn't know, then I got to tell you that you're my lucky strike. Cooler than cold, I'm all in. So load up the dice, so heavy. The way that you roll, I'm falling. So I never fall. I'm ready to take my chances, to take my time, to keep on dancing, to walk that line. Yeah, you got me shifting the paradigm. No longer wishing, you're my lucky strike. Yeah, love the way you ride. Look into my eyes, say you're ready to go. $1 million life, yeah, we could roll the dice. Act like you surprised, but you already know. You're my lucky strike, and I got to tell you, if you didn't know, then I got to tell you that you're my lucky strike. And I got to tell you, if you didn't know, then I got to tell you that you're my lucky strike. I can't let you go. There's no way. I'm already still burning. So hold me close. Now, baby, I do what I'm told. Still learning to take my chances, to take my time, to keep on dancing, to walk that line. Yeah, you got me shifting the paradigm. No longer wishing, you're my lucky strike. Love the way you ride. Look into my eyes, say you're ready to go. $1 million life, yeah, we could roll the dice. Act like you surprised, but you already know. Oh yeah, got lucky overnight.
Hello, everybody, and thanks for joining us for another week of the RecPoker podcast. Things are going swimmingly over here, and you know you're in for a treat when you hear that tune because it means we're back. We're back. It's episode 640 something. We're having a great time. We're about to chat with Lupe Soto. I'm so excited for this. We've got some cool prizes to give away. We've got a great auction that's going live as we speak. There's just a million cool things to talk about today on the RecPoker podcast. So let's get right into it. I'm your host, Jim Reed, Bluffsterini in the home game and at RecPoker Jim on socials. I've got the best freaking job in the world talking poker with my friends here on the RecPoker podcast every Monday night at 7:30 Eastern, live on YouTube. You can join us every week for free, and someone's going to win a fantastic prize tonight. Now, we're going to talk to Lupe in just a second. I'm pleased to mention first that we're brought to you by Running Aces, the official sponsor of the RecPoker podcast. Most of what we do here is free. We're a largely volunteer-based organization, so we really depend on support from our sponsors and also from our premium members who chip in their $22 a month to take part in our study opportunities and training materials. And it's just a real treat when they do because it helps us out a lot. And I want to remind you, if you're listening at home, everyone can get a free account at RecPoker. We've got a ton of free resources. All it takes is an email address and a smile. But you can get your first month of premium membership for only $5 by using the code RecPoker at checkout. And in the month of December, if you've been naughty or nice, I mean, we prefer it when people are nice, but if you want to enter the word nice, if you've been a good little boy or girl this year, you can get your first month of premium membership at RecPoker for only $1. So I'd encourage you to give that a try. We're actually going to be giving away a membership later on tonight in the show. And of course, we also love to help support local food banks. So if you don't even have $5, but you still want to give membership a try, make a donation to your local food bank for any amount and send us the receipt, and we'll happily credit you your first month of premium membership here. Now, they let me host the show on Mondays, but I am only a small cog in the RecPoker machine. It takes a group, a gang, a crew to make all the magic happen around here. You can find out more about me or the rest of the wrecking crew, as we call our leadership panel, by going to rec.poker/crew, or you can just listen up because you can meet a few of them right here tonight on the show. Take it away, gang.
Well, I'm Chris Jones. You can find me 5B5 on socials or 5x5 in the PokerStars home game, and I help run our monthly strategy segment called The Deep Dive.
My name is Joe Coolis. You can find me at Joe Cool PhD, cool with a K on Twitter or on Blue Sky. And I run the PsyOps workshop with regards to cognitive processes in your poker game. And today I am the man behind the green curtain running our lovely silent auction, which is live as we speak. We'll talk about it later.
I'm Kim Kilroy. Hi, Lupe. I am in charge of the hand history review group, and we run a little strategy session once a month. I am Pet Vet or Pet Vet 33 on the social platforms and Fergie 56 in the home game.
And I'm Rob Washam. You can find me as Rabman50 just about everywhere. And on the first and third Wednesdays of every month, join me and a bunch of our premium members as we study the latest poker book.
That's it. Just a little sampler's choice of taster's choice of the smorgasbord available here. We've got so many different Wrecking Crew members, some big names, some fun folks. All what we all have in common is loving the game of poker and helping to make the recreational poker world a better place. I mentioned a couple premium members off the top there. I want to give them a shout out because this week we've actually got two returning premium members. They were premium members a little while ago. I had to take some time off, and now they're back. So thanks to Dana Craven and Darius Kriegel, who I'm excited to have back in the fold. And I know Darius is already in our YouTube chat. So hey, dude, welcome back. All right, now let's get into the real meat of the show here. Lupe Soto is in the house. She has done it all. She's seen it all. She knows it all. Mostly when it comes to mixed games, that's kind of her thing. But Lupe, please welcome welcome back to the RecPoker podcast. Thanks for joining us again.
Awesome. I'm glad to be here. I think you guys have a really cool name, the Wrecking Crew.
Yeah, we do have a lot of fun. We have a lot of fun with stuff
I'm
over here.
wrecked, if that helps.
Yeah, I wish I don't have a beer tonight. Otherwise, I'd be on my way to join you. Usually you can count on Kim for a glass of wine. We'll just see how she's doing. So Lupe, you've been on the show before. We've met several times in real life. You're a wonderful what am I trying to say? You're a wonderful force for good in the poker world. But if
Hmm.
folks don't know who you are, if someone's listening along, how would you define your own role in the poker world today? And then we'll talk a little bit about sort of the path that's gotten you here.
Wow. I think that at this point in my journey in poker, I'm kind of doing an overview of what still needs to be done. Kind of like, okay, we've got a lot of really good themes formatted and some really cool people that have picked up the reins and are moving forward. So, and in most part, I'm talking about women in poker. So I kind of looking at the overall picture and where the holes are and what it is that we need to still fill in so that the future of women in poker can continue to grow and find a nice solid foundation in the sport.
Well, that's great, and that's obviously something that means a lot to us over here at RecPoker. And you've gone through several different iterations of this. You've founded many of the women's poker groups and associations in the industry. You've had a hand in a lot of all the other ones that you haven't actually founded yourself. What's
Mhm.
what does it feel like to sort of look back a little bit and see all these organizations that have your fingerprints all over them?
I think I feel really old, you know. It's like my daughter and I this afternoon we're talking and we were trying to figure out some dates of when certain things happened. And then I realized, oh my gosh, that was in the mid 90s.
Mm,
And I was like, you were just a baby. Yeah. So it's kind of hard to look back a little bit, because it feels like in some instances, it was just a little while ago. And you also not only have to look back, but you have to see how far you've gone,
mm.
and how much further you still need to go. And I feel like the path for women in poker has come a significant way, but it's still in its infancy in a lot of ways. So in order for it to be really grounded and for there always to be a female voice at the table, I think that there's still a ways we have to go.
Yep, I agree. It's a
Mhm.
subject that we talk about pretty frequently here. In fact, I think it's something that a lot of us can agree on. Um, what would you say have been some of the ways that we can measure success on that front since you got started with that as your mandate?
Well, I think that in the online world, there's always been a significant presence of women, because it's a very accessible way for women to play. They don't have to leave their houses. They can juggle all of the things that happen in a household and still be able to enjoy poker. I think that now when you go into pretty much any poker room in the country, I'm speaking of the United States, I can't really speak outside of the United States, but in the United States, I think you're going to find more and more women at the table. I think you're going to not only see women that are playing in the games, but let's say playing successfully even. There's more women in the top rungs of tournament play. There are more women, stacked in cash games, with lots of success. And I don't think that there's very many poker rooms that can't say that they don't have women playing anymore. Where that used to be very normal, that you would go in, you'd be the only female or one of a very small handful of women that played routinely. So I think we've come a really long way when it comes to that. And now you see some women who have significant numbers in even tournament play, and they're routinely cashing, and they're almost in celebrity status, when it comes to poker in general. And so, those are the women that are, I think, um, that I admire now because they're so young, and
Mm.
they're like in their 30s and 40s and in 50s. And, fortunately, poker is that game that you can be wheeled up and you're 90 years old to the table in a wheelchair with an oxygen tank, thank God, you know. But you see these women, and I just find that they're smart and they're good, and they're, you know, they're taking the risks that you just didn't see before. So I love it.
Which I'm kind of curious. Like I ask this of some of our guests from time to time. You've teed me up so perfectly. Who are a couple of those women that you're talking about? Like, who are a couple of these women that you see out there succeeding, doing well, and creating, you know, a good. Sorry, everyone.
Role
My
model.
brain is just a frying me tonight. For some, I'm not on my best tonight. Yeah, a good role model, a good example for like what we want to see from successful women in the poker world.
Well, I think you have some of the superstars, you know, like, you know, Kristen Foxen is getting inducted this year into the Women in Poker Hall of Fame at such a young age because she deserves it. You know,
Mhm.
she's playing at the nosebleeds of tournament play and having incredible success. And she just won a bracelet, you know, this last month. And her fifth, that's pretty
Mm.
impressive. You know, you got your Maria Hose, you know, who have she just won another major tournament. What was it? She won the Titan or something like that. I can't remember which one she won. Some big old belt. I remember that. You know, and she too is, you know, in her 40s, and it has the esteem of anyone who's in the poker world. And you know, and then you have those what I call the semi-pro girls who are out there, and you know, the Chris Reeds and the Ruth Halls and the you know, just women who are really, you know, Nancy Birnbaum and Marsha Wolak, and you know, some of these women who are grinding. You know, they're in the real grind of things. They aren't playing necessarily in those, you know, 50K buy-ins and stuff like that. But, you know, I think that if they were staked, they could do it and just have a seat at the table just like anybody else.
Mm.
You know, so there's a lot of people that we should be watching. And you know, I don't know them all, but I can tell you that you see their name getting repeated a lot. And they're traveling the circuits, and they're starting to take those risks like a, you know, a real pro, that pro status. Not everybody gets to do that, you know. I don't care
That's
how long
right.
you've been in the game.
Yeah, and we've had a few of those folks on the show here already. I'm trying to get Marcia on. I was playing with her husband, a little 1-3 down in Vegas last time I was down there. I had a lovely conversation about pickleball of all things, but still got
They're
to make that
really into
happen.
pickleball.
I know. Oh, trust me, I know. I couldn't get him to talk about anything else. It was hilarious.
That's so
So
great.
I'm sure the Wrecking Crew members here are going to have some questions for you here in the panel. And I just want to remind our YouTube chatters, if you have any questions for Lupe, just type them into the YouTube chat, and I'll make sure that we ask them. I also want to remind our YouTube chatters, stick around. We're going to give away a great prize at the end of the show for free. It's just a raffle you get to enjoy after the interview. And I'll also just remind them that if you want to support what we're doing here at RecPoker, we can really use all the help that we can get. If you go to rec.poker/support, you can find some wonderful ways to help us out without dropping a dime. But if you'd like to make a donation through the YouTube chat, through a super chat or a super sticky or a super comment, we do share a portion of all our YouTube donations with a local food bank. So I'd encourage you to do that as well. All right, I can see a couple questions lined up already. I'm going to go first because I'm in charge and I can do whatever I want. Lupe, my first question, you talk about sort of getting some staking and having access to these other events. How important is that to making it as a professional player? I think our audience, you know, we cater to the recreational crowd and we think of poker as being a meritocracy. But in fact, like bankroll is really the most important thing, it seems like, when it comes to this. Can you just sort of speak to that and why not having access to staking can be a bit of a handicap from people that are trying to rise in the ranks?
Well, I'm going to speak from a mother wife perspective, because I think that women are very different when you come to poker players, because we will meet the needs of any of our needs at home before we'll ever even consider putting money on the table. So staking is huge because there are a lot of other poker players that know the skill sets of women, and they fortunately will say, hey, you know, let me put you into that
Let me
Mhm.
put you in, or can I take a piece of you so you can get into this one? Because they know that they can get their rewards from them, you know? So I think that when it comes to staking opportunities, and it's either, you know, through other people who have faith in you and your skill set, or providing opportunities for satelliting in or league play or some of those things. Because, you know, I'm a recreational player, even though I've been playing for as many years as I am. I enjoy a cash game. Do I always go play? No. Do I always have the bankroll? No. You know, and why is that? It's because I will find other things. I saw a deck in my backyard that needed to be repaired. I put my money into that or whatever. Or there was a cruise that I went on. You know, I'm a recreational player. Now, if I were a professional player, my money would go into a different way. I would like to say that I would like to be a pro player. Is my skill set there? No, it's not. You know, I still get my butt handed to me on time to time, you know. So, but for those players who really have the skill set or are trying really, really hard, I encourage operators and friends and, you know, people that believe in your poker play to give you that step up. You know, I think staking is huge. And there's a lot of women who are working together in different parts of the country, even in home games and in league play or in their local casinos where they're doing monthly events where women can go and play and start building their bankrolls so they can take that next level. You know, it's just a very difficult step. I would have to say that that's probably the problem for many poker players. You know,
Mm.
it's not just women, but I can only speak for women at this point just because I know their struggles. And I know it's a little bit more difficult for women to put the money down when there's other needs, you know.
There's a follow-up question from the YouTube chat here from Eric Ebson, that I was going to ask anyway. Now I know there's a number of excellent women's organizations in the poker industry, all with different mandates. Some to do with sort of training, some to do with like access, some to do. I know some of them have their own kind of like staking platforms. Eric says, if someone isn't well connected in the poker world, how do you get connections to get staked? How do you do it?
Well, I'll be honest with you. I think that you need to show your results at all levels.
Hmm.
Okay. So like if you are keep a journal. Say, listen, I'm playing my local casino. I'm playing this level. I'm playing this many times. I'm having these kinds of results because you have to show something, right? I mean, you're not going to go put your money down on a dead horse. You're going to put one on a live horse. So you want to be able to present that. The other thing is too is show up. You know, it's like if you have an opportunity to be in a league, take it because we're going to see how you play.
Mm.
We're going to see every month or every week or however often that league play is, or even the free games that are out there to give you point leaders, you know, over time. We know who those players are. They're consistent. They're you know, they show up at the final tables. They show up in the cashing ranges. And after time, it's like, you know what, you're a really good player. The only reason that you aren't in these other playing in these games is because you don't have the money. Well, let me help you with that. Let me take a
Mm.
little piece of you. You know, now my problem is I know thousands of women, you know, and they all would love for me to be able to give a piece of them. And so for me, as a rule, I don't do it. And that's because I can't show favoritism
Sure.
mainly. But
Yep.
if I were not in the position that I'm in, I know where I'd put my money. There's a lot of good horses out there. Let me just say.
That's
There really
right.
is.
And
Mhm.
Eric, I'll tell you, even a dead horse can host a podcast every once in a while and get some staking. So, like, you do have a lot of options available to you. Joe Coolis, you had raised your hand first, and then we'll get to a question from Kim after. Go ahead.
Yeah, thanks for coming on the show. And I'm going to refer to you as Dr. Lupe because I think that's actually technically correct if I understand your credentials. And that's kind of the focus of my question because when I had a chance to review your CV and, you know, kind of tool around and see what you are, beyond being, involved in the poker world, which is impressive, you've done some pretty impressive things outside. You've been just a short list, executive director of social services for the Salvation Army, director of social services for Parenthood Prenatal Division, executive director of the Chula Vista Community Collaborative, and then as well as your Poker Cares and I'm sorry, I'm forgetting the other organization.
Poker Gives.
Yeah, Poker
Poker
Gives.
Gives is the fundraising arm of Vegas Connected, which is our charity.
Vegas Connected, right? And
Yeah.
and people should know that, I mean, that organization is giving money to children, it's giving money to homeless veterans. So you're doing a ton in the community, which is impressive in itself, and people should just know that. And so I'm taking the opportunity to kind of sell who you are outside of the poker world.
Yeah, I think that it was like a blessing in disguise because, back in, I mean, that's what you go to school for, I knew right away that I wasn't a private practice kind of person. So I was much better at developing programs and finding funding and all those kinds of things. And it was because my board chair of the collaborative that I was working for as their executive director pissed me off. And I just said, you know what? Screw you. You don't see the vision. And if you can't see the vision, I don't need to be here. So I went and in that process of what I was doing is information systems. Basically, we were providing ways for people who were trying to get social services and health services and stuff, those kinds of things. Now, this is the mid 90s, internet is very, very tiny back then. We're talking about lots of computer scientists locked in a room trying to figure out how they could get around HIPAA rules to be able to share information with all these different agencies. And I was in there to give them the guidance as to what the agencies were. So when I left, I locked myself into my room, and for about 18 months, I learned everything there was to know about internet, about where it was, how to do websites, what to do with graphic design, and blah, 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 and all these things, because I thought that I wanted to do things in the social service realm. What I discovered was you either go into poker at that time or you went into porn. And honey, with this, you don't go into porn. What can I say? So those were the things that were thriving at the time, right? Those two things. And I discovered poker, and that was because we were, also dabbling at the casino down the street in poker. And I love poker. I love everything about poker. I think that it's a fantastic game, and what it does for your skill sets, critical thinking and negotiation and debate and banter and bluffing and blah, 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 all the things. Poker's the best. What can I say?
So
That's when I left that, and I went into poker.
So let me ask you this question, because what was intriguing to me is that there's some aspects of poker that's a game of privilege, right? A lot of people who are you working with directly just don't have the money to play, and it's a privilege to play it on a daily basis. Sometimes I run into the problems like, how do I balance out, this very cutthroat game that I'm playing with for fun and encouraging people to go into it, when really a lot of the people, a lot of the other areas that I work, the ethos of poker isn't really great in terms of what they need and what they're receiving, and sometimes I'm just blowing a lot of money that maybe I should be giving to somebody else. Does that question make sense?
Oh, absolutely. But I think that you can also look at chess. It's kind of like, if you look at chess is a game. This is a game. Football's a game. All these things are games. If you play them purely recreationally, and there is just as much fun in my home games where we literally put $1 down on the table for our tournament buy-in, then there is, at $1,000 buy-in. Now, granted, are you in it to win money? Are you in it to enjoy the game? And there's those aspects of both. Now, granted, there's a lot of people who have a really hot car sitting in their driveway and they dream of being a race car driver, but they aren't ever going to be a race car driver. But they're going to enjoy their hot car. Okay. So it's like, you've got to find the pleasure in all levels. And for me, I can enjoy, like I said, sitting around my home in my dinner table with my friends and pulling out a deck of cards just as much as I do if I get an opportunity to sit down and really be staked well at cash game. I mean, but not everybody gets that opportunity. I mean, look at how many people live in an area of the country where there's no poker rooms. They
Mhm.
can't go sit down for anything. They either have to invest in their travel or whatever to be able to enjoy this as a game. So, you know, I feel very, very blessed in that I've been able to navigate poker to where I'm at. And I'm still, honey, I'm a 4-8 limit or a 6-12 or an 8-16 max cash game player. You're never going to see me sitting down at a 5,100 game, or you're never going to see me sitting down in a $3,000 buy-in poker tournament unless I won my way in, because I have a real healthy respect for money. A real healthy respect. I mean, I don't even do my own nails, honey. It's like I don't go get all that stuff. It's like I don't. That's why my nails look like this. It's like that. I don't put money there. So it's like it depends on where you have that dream and where you have that ambition. I mean, there's a lot of people who are really good pitchers in baseball, but they never make it to a mound. You know.
But
So I think that you have to look at poker that way too.
yeah, sometimes I see that people don't understand that for women, being able to play is a freedom question, right? It's like being able to free in the same way that men can do those things and not having to worry about it. And so anyway, you have a fascinating autobiography. Keep up the good work. I'm really impressed with what you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I was excited to have you back on the show, Lupe. You have a lot of exciting and interesting thoughts to share. Kim Kilroy, you had a question next, I believe.
I did. Hi, Lupe. Nice to see you again.
Hey, it's
Um,
so great.
I just recently got back from the Women's Winter Festival in London. It was sponsored by PokerStars, and it was actually like knocked out of the park. It was so well attended. There was a 100K guarantee for the main event, women only. Um, it was so big and so well attended that they're going to have to look for another venue if they hold it again, because the venue that they had didn't contain everyone.
I don't think that
They
that will happen. I think the days will extend
That would
because
be good.
Hippodrome and PokerStars are joined at the hip. Let me just say.
Oh yeah, good point.
Okay. It was phenomenal. And do you think that there's a place for these women only festivals?
Oh, well, come on, girl. I mean, I literally am the one who started these women's festivals. And there absolutely is, because they are so much fun and they are so different than any other festival that's out there. I mean, I attend them all, right? I've been to all kinds of different festivals all over everywhere. And there's nothing like a women's festival because we are different creatures. When we get together and the guys are gone, we talk differently, we socialize differently, we hang out different. I mean, it's just so different. It's like a sisterhood almost. And let me just say, I have to back it up a little bit because I have to give my shout outs to PokerStars, because PokerStars has been in the game for women for many, many years. This is one of the times that PokerStars has put dollars, big dollars, behind a women's event. Okay. So that if anybody gave me the kind of money that they gave Hippodrome, let me just tell you where women's poker would be today if I had been backed these last 20 years. We have not. We have put together what it is with nothing, no dollars, nothing. So it has been just a breath of fresh air to see what they did in London. Okay. Now, granted, I sat down with PokerStars and they just said, "Oh, it's nice to meet you. See you later." But they are I don't care. I mean, whether it's me or it's just them or whatever they do, as long as they just keep doing it for women in the game, we are going to see some really cool events. WPT coming forward and putting a $250,000 guarantee on their women's championship. That was ginormous. And then, of course, it doubled. It doubled because that's where women are going to go and support whatever and whoever puts it down for us, right? So now, granted, I can say that in a very small way, the women have showed up. for Lips and for now the Women in Poker stuff that we're doing too. Over the years, I mean, there are women who have literally been doing this for 20 years with me. It's amazing,
Yeah.
you know,
That's
and
yeah, it's amazing that what you've done too. But this was sort of like an international kind of flair for a festival and sort of like a destination kind of place to go, right?
well,
Which I thought
100%
was
because Kim, Poker Stars is international. It's not in the United States.
right.
Okay. You can buy your way in, or you could win your way in online. And, you know, that is huge. When we used to be able to have that opportunity, I mean, I would have 450 women at an event because they could qualify. And then internet went away.
Yeah.
And so now what they've done with this, and they gave us packages to give away. And like I said, they had 100,000 guarantee that they didn't come close to, not even a blip. Okay. They put that money up. And if that continues, we are just gonna be blowing the numbers out. I mean, people will travel to London. People will travel wherever they say that they will put up the money.
Yeah, it was also really interesting that one, they're trying to, I like the way that it's trying to change the name to women's rather sort of for the events instead of ladies.
Excuse me, they're copying me. This is the third year of the Women's
Of
Poker
course, you're
Festival.
such a good influence that way. That's
Like,
100%. And they had a very, very, very interesting uh tournament where they had 50% men and 50% women. And you had to register with it wasn't a partner event, but you had to register with a man, and you both played individually on your own. But it was very interesting because there was 200 players, I think. And when they got down to 100 players, there was 50 men and 50 women in it.
Oh, wow.
So it was quite the experiment to see sort of, as women are normally only 3% of the poker table. So
what's very interesting, and I'm going to back you up 4 years ago. That's how Poker Chicks started before even Lips, is because we used to run our tournament where we had on Victory Poker, and that was online, and we used to do equal numbers of men and women. We had a gender defender, is what we called it. And then we did it live too. But the reason that Poker Chicks got started is because when we started doing this championship, we had the men and the women. There was a male and a female champion, and then at the end of the year, we'd get everybody together, equal numbers, and then we would play, and we would see basically who came out on top. But then they said, "Oh, there's no gender in poker." So they was like, okay, let's just make it together and we'll just do it together. And that kind of went away, but we missed the opportunities to play together. So that's when Poker Chicks literally started, was because of that reason. We wanted an opportunity to come together. And the gender defender format, well, they won't, in some places, they don't let us call it that anymore because it's not politically correct or whatever the hell. But okay, so kings and queens, whatever it is, 50-50, whatever you want to call it. I think it's fascinating. We did a kings and queens in Florida at the Florida State Championship Series here in September. And when we got to the final table, of 9, there were 5 guys and 4 women. And we thought that was great. And when we got into the money, it was completely 50-50. And it wasn't 50-50 to start with. There was probably, I would say, more like 70-30 with men. And so we were just so excited when it got to 50-50 when it got into the money. And then, of course, when we got to the final table, it being so close to that.
I can
love
see
that
you've been
50-50
the pioneer
format.
of all the really good ideas in women's poker.
Oh, it's not just me. I mean, I'm not saying that. It's just
No,
what I'm
but you
saying is
are.
that it is coming back to, and it, like I said, I don't care who's doing it as long as it's getting done. I want it done. And if Poker Stars and the Hippodrome and Poker Stars and whoever the heck else, I know that they're really, really big with, is it not Maryland Live? Who's on the East Coast with them? Is it no, it used to be Borgata. It's not Borgata. I don't know. Anyway, if they keep throwing money, we're going to keep supporting it. Let's get her done. I mean, that's what it's going to take. It's going to take somebody with deep pockets. I didn't have deep pockets. It's like, it was just, let's do what we can do. But to get operators and to get a company of that magnitude to do it is huge. Anybody will put into it, like I said, you tell me what it is you want. I mean, we did satellites to get women to over there. We did whatever we could do to get women qualified to go. I did not wind up going to London, only because if you saw my house, looks like a storage unit right now, getting ready for this winter series that we're doing, plus the Women in Poker Hall of Fame. I couldn't go. Yeah, I would never have got it done in time.
So let's talk about this next series. That was one of the questions I had for you, Lou. And first of all, are we cool? I know I still owe you a cocktail, but like, are we
Yeah,
still
you
friends?
freaking do, dude. Let me just say, second I see you, it better have a margarita with it.
Lupe and
He took me
were.
out.
I
He
did.
took me out of the free
I
roll.
I busted Lupe in the NAPT free roll for the big game.
He did.
But the events were conspiring against us. They kept placing you to my right, and the stacks were getting shorter. It was my hands were tied. But it was a pleasure to play with you, just like it always is.
It was so
And we
much
got a
fun.
chance. We got a chance to talk about this little series that you've got coming up here. These women's tournaments. Alongside the World Poker Tour in Las Vegas, right around the corner. And you were gracious enough to allow RecPoker to even provide some prizes to help add some value to what you're doing over there. Why don't you share some details about that with our audience?
Well, this is year 3 for the women's championship with the World Poker Tour. And one of the things that we know about women is they're not going to come out and invest if they're a one and done. Okay. If they come out and there's just one event, they're not gonna, it's just the numbers wouldn't be there. So we had talked about it when this first came through, and I said, listen, I will do a support series for the WPT. It won't be WPT because heaven knows that's like a major faux pas if you do that. And I said, so I will just do it somewhere close so that we can have the gals have more things to do other than just this one thing. Because, again, bankroll management, if they're going to go put down $1,200 or $1,100, they're going to be lucky if they have 2 bullets in their pocket. Okay. Very few women will be able to stay for the next $1,000 and the next 1,200 or the next 500, 1,500, whatever else they're offering during the WPT series. So we supplied a series, the Women's Poker Festival, with smaller buy-ins. Our championship is $360. And it was to create something that they can come and still have an experience here in Vegas, even if they don't do well in the WPT, that they can still enjoy. So that was what would happen. It's at Resorts World. And it's interesting how now there's a new Vegas hasn't got, now there's summer camp, and now there's a winter camp. All kinds of rooms have come together now, and they're doing winter festivals as well. And I think it's great. I think, again, being a third party kind of person like I am, when the poker rooms start doing it on their own, they push you out. They don't have room for you anymore. So I'm very grateful to the Resorts World that they're still allowing us to have our festival there. We start on Monday at the Orleans. Orleans is doing their winter festival, and they've included, a women's event. And then it moves over to the Resorts World for Tuesday. And we're doing a couple of newer things this time. We're doing a mystery bounty for women that's never been done before, which we're kind of excited about. And it's a moderate buy-in, so like $240 for a mystery bounty tournament, but people have been asking for one. And so we're going to try it, and we'll do that. We also have a meetup game that's very fun. It's not only are we playing poker together, but we're doing the Secret Santa kind of steal the prize game from at your table. So when your number gets called, you go and you open it, and you have to open it in front of everybody, and then you got to keep track of what table they're on and who's got what, and it's a lot of fun. We had 80 players last year for the mug game, and hopefully we'll have the similar numbers this year, and it's a lot of fun. And then, of course, on Tuesday, okay, that's Tuesday, Wednesday is the Women in Poker Hall of Fame. And so we're having our induction ceremony at the historic plaza downtown. And the reason hey, let me just tell you what, being in the middle of December, in the middle of the rodeo, in the middle of the holidays, we were so hard pressed to find a place to host it. And fortunately, they had a room that we were able to carve out at the plaza. And so we're going to have our induction ceremony there. And then right after that, it's an open tournament for anybody who'd like to join us. And it is it's a bounty tournament. It's $180 buy-in and $50 bounties on all the players. And then if you knock out one of the hall members, and honey, let me just say, it's no limit hold'em, and I'm going to play. You can knock me out real easy. I never play hold'em, as you know.
Hey now.
And so you knock out one of us, and we've got all kinds of gift baskets and stuff, and prizes that have been donated, and things like from RecPoker and all the different organizations and groups and coming forward. And so if you knock out one of the hall members, you're going to be able to win one of those as an added prize. And then of course we have our championship, and then the WPT has their ladies event. And then we're coming back for the very last Toast to 20 Lips game. We've been doing an entire year of Toast to 20s all across the country, and it'll be our last event that qualifies for the Player of the Year. And this 20 year, we thought, okay, we're going to do 20 events for the 20 years. That 20 events was like in May. So now it's like 60 events or something like that we were able to pull off this year. It's been such a wonderful and busy time. And so one person who's gotten to the top of the leaderboard will be crowned our Player of the Year as our 20-year anniversary player. We don't do this every year. We never done it before. This is our first year, and it'll probably be another 20 years before we do it again. But so we're real excited to see what's going to happen there. And we have a custom ring that has been created for that player, and just they are going to get their buy-in to the ladies WSOP and to the WPT ladies championship and to the Lips championship. And it's going to be pretty special for that person.
That's very cool. And Lupe, you mentioned Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, but for our audience, is that December 9th through 11th or 16th
Oh no,
through
it goes
18th?
all the way through the 16th. But
Okay.
it's us, and then we skip a day because they're gonna go to the WPT Ladies Championship. That day we're dark, so that everybody will be over there in support of them. And then their day 2, of course, all the players didn't make it. They can come
Right.
back and play with us for the Toast to 20. And then we're also doing a Rose tournament for mixed game players, Raz, Omaha High-Low, Stud, and Stud 8. So we're doing a Rose tournament as our very last of the series, and that'll be on Sunday.
Well, that sounds great. I wish you the best of luck. I know it's going to be a fun set of events. Hopefully it's well attended, and I know you're going to have some very high caliber players there, so I'm sure it'll be a success.
I can see why you do what you do. Thank you for that. That last little section says exactly you're right where you should be doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
The ball, and then it's just great.
Yeah. No, I mean, this is the thing. Lupe's just had such a great passion for this over the years that, I mean, it's obvious and it's infectious. And we need more of that, and that's why I'm so pleased to be speaking to you again here on the show.
Well,
in fact,
if I might mention, if you don't
please.
mind, that's, I'm well, like I said, I'm old. I started when I was 5, but really I didn't. But there's a whole new generation of women that are much younger that are picking up the reins. The Women's Poker Association is an association for all women poker players. if you play poker, you should be a member. It's a free membership. And literally what it is a strength in numbers to provide a voice for women in the industry, to the industry. And you know, it's an all volunteer organization. The women that are in the leadership roles right now are, I would say, 10, 15, 20 years my junior, which is fantastic, you know, and with that brings a new perspective and where the game is going. Because with the game that was played in the 70s is not the game that was played in the 90s, which is not the game that's being played in the 20s. You know, I mean, so to have that youthful outlook and energy and guidance for all the newer generations that are coming is very, very exciting. Very exciting.
Speaking of generations of women in poker, I just want to mention that my mom rarely misses a show. She's in the YouTube chat and says hi and thanks for being a great guest. So there you go.
Oh, my
Thanks, Mom.
pleasure. Hey. Yeah,
Oh.
my family played poker when I was very, very little, but we used to play for candy, and so
Hmm.
I would eat it and I'd be out real fast. So
Yeah, you
it
don't
was
want
a
that's
problem.
poor bankroll management, Lupe. That's one of the
Oh,
first
bankroll
lessons.
management. We used to play
Don't
with
eat your winnings.
Tootsie Rolls, those little Tootsie Rolls. We play
Sure.
with Tootsie Rolls and oh shoot, I can't even remember what. Oh, Milk Duds, Milk Duds.
Classic. Yeah. Well, I grew up actually playing with some of my mom's family, like my cousins and some friends up at the cottage and that kind of thing. We played for pennies. I rarely ate many of the pennies, but we all have our strengths when it comes to bankroll management. Um, speaking of eating, great segue. I want to talk a little bit about Poker Gives and the support that you guys have provided, especially to hungry people in Las Vegas. I was able to join a couple friends, JB, Sammy Gruber, and her dad, and some other folks down there on one of the Monday nights when I was down over the summer. And it's just a great we like to support food banks here on the Rec Poker podcast and throughout our organization. Um, can you speak a little to how you guys have chosen what programs to resource and there's so many needy people in the world. How do you choose who to help and where to start?
Well, we it's kind of an interesting path, but when I first moved out to Las Vegas, one of my dear friends and I were talking. She goes, you can't lose that part of you. You can't lose that nonprofit part you have. And I was like, I know, but gosh, Las Vegas is such an oasis, and there's so much need here. And there's one of the biggest things that we have here is a significant homelessness, and there's no next town. We are in
Mhm.
an island in the desert, and if you were to try to get to the next town, you'd die. There's no way you can. So people, when they come here, they're stuck here. And I know that there was the city got into a bunch of trouble because they were giving one-way bus tickets at one point, but that stopped.
Yep.
So we would look at a lot of the needs, and one of the things we knew we could tackle, because we are poker players and we know how many people come to town, was we could try and keep people clean. So we first
Mhm.
started off with clothing and toiletries and trying to if you keep people clean, it keeps them healthier, and that if you keep them warm and you keep them clothed, that's all good stuff. And so that was our first efforts. We did not get into feeding people until COVID, because we showed up when COVID hit to go distribute our clothing. And all of these people came running up to us and they're like, "Oh, you guys are here? We didn't think you would camp. Nobody's coming anymore.
Mhm.
There's no more services because everybody was in lockdown." And they said, "We haven't eaten in 3 days." And we were like, "Oh, well, how much money you got? How much money you got?" And we were like pulling. So we ran off and bought pizzas and brought them all back. And they were, we fed whoever was there. And we just realized this is a real problem. We didn't know how long lockdown was going to be. We didn't know when was going to be the next time, you couldn't even go to a restaurant. You had to drive through in your car. Well, if you didn't have a car, you couldn't go do that either. So these people were stuck. There was not a lot of traffic. There was no panhandling, all that. So that's when feeding the homeless started, is in 2020. And we just said, hey, you guys want to help cook? We're going to do this. And, we started looking at ads and what was cheap and, whatever. And we started doing vegetables and chicken and pastas and everybody's, yeah, I'll do a pot, I'll do this and I'll do that. And the next thing you know, we're in a soup kitchen mode, and we were doing a pop-up soup kitchen. Well, then people started seeing what we were doing and they started throwing us some dollars to keep it going. And then, yeah, it costs us about $250 to $300 a week because we have so many fantastic restaurant partnerships now. We have people from, we pick up from Olive Garden and from what's the market that does all the fresh food? Gosh darn it, my brain just Whole Foods. We have the Pizza Hut. We have I don't know. We've probably got with Red Lobster. We've got like 8 different restaurants that we pick up from on the weekly basis. They freeze all the food that they can't serve after an hour or whatever it is that time is. They put it all in their freezer. We go and pick it up. We see what we have and repurpose it. Some of it we can use directly. Oh, Chick-fil-A, huge contract with them. They're so great. And we can give that stuff out easily. So we're feeding almost 500 people, if not more, depending on who's there every week, every Monday night. Tonight's a Monday night. That's what they're doing. Now we're doing it earlier now because it gets dark earlier, and it's more dangerous the darker it is on the streets. So we used to feed at 6:30. Now we're feeding at 4:30. And it's all volunteers. Everybody gets together, and where we spend our money is on those things like the serving utensils and all the cups and all the plates and all that stuff, and the warmers to keep the food warm, and the big pans to give out, and all that. But everything else, everybody's a volunteer, and we have dealers out there and deal servers. We have all kinds of people doing stuff. My daughter heads the front of the line every week, and it's pretty amazing.
It is amazing. It is amazing. And I was able to just like see it with my own eyes. I was so impressed with the breadth of the organization and, just a lot of goodwill there. So I'd encourage folks, if you're in the Las Vegas area, every Monday night, this group gets together and it's easy to get in touch with them. Actually, I guess, Lupe, what's the best way if people want to get in touch with the group?
We actually now have a volunteer coordinator who is coming up, and we're setting up the website so that you can go on and say, this is my name, and she can tell you what we have available and how our need is for that particular day. We also have a youth program through the schools, I can't remember. Community and schools is what it is. And those are basically the people inside the schools that find out where the needs are of the students. And then they contact us. We usually do the homeless kids, and we have like 300 kids living on the streets right now that we're taking care of. We'll take care of them for Christmas and stuff. And then the seniors, we take care of their senior day that they get to go, and then for them to be able to get class pictures and senior stuff, a cap and a gown. And, if they make it to that level, we're going to support them. Even if they're living in a residential weekly, with their families and stuff, or in their cars, we don't care. We're going to support them. So we do that. And then we have our For the Boots program, and that is the referrals from Nellis Air Force Base. If the chaplain's office or the family service center has a need for a family that they can't meet, they refer them to us, and whatever that need is, we go out and we figure it out.
I love it. That is fantastic. And so folks, if you want to get involved with this sort of thing, you can check out Poker Gives. I've also just put a link in our YouTube chat where Joe Koulis is running a charity auction where there's all sorts of amazing, very unique, very cool poker stuff from some of the biggest names in poker available for bid, and 100% of the proceeds from that are also going to go toward feeding the hungry by supporting a local food bank as well. So this is a great opportunity for everybody to to put their money where their mouth is and to make the world a better place by just sharing something of what you have with people that really need it the most.
And
And a
just
I
big
just
shout out
also
to
have to, I'm sorry, go ahead.
shout out to Jennifer Newell as
of our
well.
always understand small donations of cash are king, right? You know,
Oh,
Yeah.
100%.
surprised how, you know, you can say, I can't spend an hour, I don't live in Las Vegas. You give $10 to this organization. They, you said it was like $300 a week or something like, I mean, it's like you just,
Yes, and you know, like I said, we have no overhead. Yeah,
right. So
we are all volunteers. And so you know, your dollars, I mean, our hard costs go into things like paying for the website or stuff and that kind of thing. And that's really no big deal. And you know, like buying all the hard things like the plates and the things that you have to give out and bags and all that kind of thing. But all of the rest of it is literally sweat equity from everybody, you know, and that's why your dollars go all the way back into people's needs. The other thing I wanted to mention though is that poker players are some of the most generous people on the planet.
Hmm.
You would not think so, but they are. They are amazing. And, you know, we'll go in like the big game that's at the Resorts World, the mixed game, the guys, they would just like, hey, come over here. And they would say, all right, you come on, everybody. And they would all throw a black chip in. Next thing you know, we got a $600 donation from these guys. That's, you know, 2 weeks worth of our budget. You know, so we're very, 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 we'll take the $5 chip, the $1 chip. We don't care. If you have chips, you know, if you see Barb and you're over at the Orleans, Barb is our executive director. She will take them and you know, she'll take donations. If you see me, if you see Linda Johnson, Jan Fisher, if you see any of these people who are, you know, associated with us, please, you know, give them your dollars because they will come right back to us. Or you can just go on pokergives.org and hit the donate button. You know, unfortunately, we do get charged that 2.5% or whatever the heck it is for, you know, using their system. So it's chips are better. We'll take chips.
That's great. And I just wanted to give a shout out to Jennifer Newell, who had actually really put me in touch with some people down there that meant that I could get driven over to help out and that kind of stuff. I didn't want to miss that opportunity. She's done such a lot of great stuff
Oh,
in the poker
absolutely. I
world as
love
well.
Jennifer. Love
Yeah,
Jennifer.
she's great. So we're getting close to the end of the show here. I'll give folks in the YouTube chat one more chance to type any questions in there. Lupe, getting back to sort of women in poker, and we've talked about some of the success that's been had on that front. What are some of the things that still need to happen? You're very experienced in this particular subject. Are there a couple concrete things that you feel like the poker community just needs to do that they're not doing?
100%.
Share a little on that. Yeah.
I think the number one thing, and I know that this benefits women, but it benefits all players. I believe that everybody needs to look at our own behaviors in poker. We need to have a safe place to play. We need to have a fun place to play. So if your attitude at the table isn't what it needs to be, you need to get your fancy ass out of that chair and leave. Okay? Because poker can only be enjoyed if you make it enjoyable. So I like to look at the policies and the things that are in the infrastructures of operators. Are they looking at their poker room and making sure that it is a safe place? And if somebody does become unruly, is there policies in place on how to handle it? Is there a method where the dealer can contact the floor or the player can contact the floor and then it gets handled? Because I've seen so many situations where there is a regular who is a butthole at the table and they don't want to lose him because he's a regular and he's a bottom dollar amount for their room. The one thing I can say is if they don't address that one guy or that one girl or the person who is not doing what's best for the game, there are 9 or 8 other people sitting at that table who are looking at it. And if it's not addressed, they know that one day that person's behavior is going to get geared towards them, or they're going to be the person that's the next attack. And it's not fair. If I feel like an operator isn't handling a bad situation, I don't feel like I want to support them. I think they need to make that a very important part of their operations.
That's
That's the first thing.
music to my ears. Is there a second
Yes.
thing?
Yes. I believe that every operator needs to be addressing what they can do for women in the game. And new players, whether it's a male or female. Are they providing opportunities for them to learn the game? Are they showing tours of their room? How do they, this is where you go to buy your chips. This is where you go to sign up to play a game. They need to be looking at playing limit poker again, because new players, if they go sit down and make one mistake and no limit, their bankroll is gone.
Mm-hmm.
But if they have limit games where remember the 2-4 limit game? I'm sorry, that 2-4 limit game brought a whole lot of no limit players to this industry because they moved up once limit or no limit became a game. So I think they need to be looking at the new game. They need to look at their policies. And then 3, that was 1 and 2 that I forgot 2, but 3 is they need to look at limit poker as an avenue to get the game going again and sustainable. And it doesn't have to be a mixed game. It could be limit hold'em, but if they don't introduce those things, I think that we're going to miss the boat, because there's a whole lot of people can't afford no limit games. They just can't.
That's a great point. It's not something that we talk about here very often, but that is one of the problems with no limit, is that it's easy to lose your whole stack in one hand or in one orbit. And for players that are less experienced, that can be a problem.
There is a tier system in our industry, and it begins with bars, the bar leagues. Those people are going there to play for free, to learn the game. Now, granted, they think that they are Phil Hellmuth when they're sitting there. And it doesn't necessarily translate when they go into a poker setting in a casino. But if operators will look at what bar leagues are in their towns and start inviting them in and hosting games for them at a very low limit, that's the next tier. And then those people will move to the next, they'll feel comfortable in a casino setting, and then they'll move into the next part of that. And that's, finding their own table and finding their own poker tournament to play in, even if it's a low one. And you know what? The days of re-entry tournaments are killing us. They need to stop re-entry tournaments. There needs to be more freeze outs. I never had a re-entry for years and years of playing poker. You just went in, and if you lost your $60 tournament buy-in, guess what? You were done for that, and you went to your 2-4 limit or 2-4 limit game to sit down and play. So I think that we've done ourselves a disservice by just keep going up and up and up and up in the limits and all that kind of stuff. I think we need to go back and rewind the clock a little bit.
It's a great point. I love it. It's wonderful to hear. Lupe, you've been really generous with your time. We're coming up on an hour here. I want to give our YouTube chatters a chance to enter our raffle at the end. So every week we give away a prize to support a local food bank. All we ask from our YouTube chatters is just to type the words food bank into the YouTube chat. You can start doing that now, and we'll draw a winner after the interview. And I just want to remind everyone, Poker Gives is a fantastic organization based out of Nevada. But if you just pull out your smartphone and Google food banks near me, you'll find an organization that can benefit from a few dollars out of your pocket, a few volunteer hours out of your week, or a few non-perishable food items from your pantry. And I'd encourage you to go and make that compassionate contribution and make the world a better place in your own backyard. And again, if folks go to rec.poker/auction, you can find some great prizes there, and that'll also support a local food bank. Joe's going to mention a few more details about that at the end of the show. I think with that, it's time for Stake Study Stack. Chris Jones, are you prepared to put Lupe in a very uncomfortable position here?
I am best my abilities will take me. So, Lupe, this is a game we call Stake, Study, Stack. I'm going to give you three names. You're going to pick one who you would like to stake in a tournament or cash game, one that you would like to study with, and then one that you would take a great amount of pleasure of stacking them at the table. And I think we've got some good names for you.
Okay.
We are first going to ask you, the first two names are your podcast co-host. We haven't asked you about your podcast, but your podcast co-hosts, Rebecca Scales and Tatiana Fox. And then for our third name, I'm going to give you Linda Johnson.
Oh, well, shoot. Oh, okay. So it's stake,
Study, stack.
or stuck.
This is the desired
gonna
outcome. This is
say-
exactly why we do this. I love this.
Yeah, I'm going to stake Rebecca. My co-host Rebecca, she has become a really strong mixed game player, and I think I drug her along and made her sit down with bracelet winners for very first time, and she's come a very long way. So I would stake her. I think that Tatiana has become an incredibly good PLO player, so I probably would like to study with her. And I want to stack Linda because she's the one that taught me poker, real poker over the years. And I'm sure I bought a car for her over the years with all the money she's taken off me.
Love it. Great answers.
Oh, that's great. All right. Well, Lupe, we're going to close the action here with our little speed round to wrap things up, and then we're going to say goodbye. Thank you again. This has been a lot of fun. We're going to introduce some drama. Oh yeah, that's pressure's on. Pressure's on now. We got a soundboard. We made the big leagues. All right, we're gonna start with an easy one, Lupe. So we're just looking for the first thing that pops into your mind. Has to be fast. Has to be true. You can say pass. All right. Starting with an easy one. Lupe Soto, what is your favorite poker hand?
The winning one.
Is poker a gamble or a skill game?
Skill.
What's your biggest poker pet peeve?
Bad behavior.
Is Die Hard a Christmas movie?
100%.
Is Ace King a drawing hand?
Yes.
What's one thing that you don't have that if you did, you would be truly happy?
Another 50 years of life in front of me.
Good answer. You might have that. Is a hot dog a sandwich? Is a hot dog a sandwich? Is a hot dog a sandwich?
A sandwich?
Yeah.
I put it in a tortilla. It's a burrito.
Whoa. Okay. All right. I like the nuance. Should vacations be lazy or busy?
Lazy.
Is a royal flush just technically a straight flush?
Yes.
What's one thing you're afraid of?
Heights.
What's your favorite poker venue?
I don't. What do you mean? What do you mean? Venue?
Like brick and mortar, like your poker room that you'd most like to
my
play
favorite
in.
big. Oh well, I play at Resorts World because that's where our mixed game is. But for tournament stuff, I like Venetian.
There's a yellow light coming up. Slow down or speed up?
Oh, speed up.
This doesn't have to be your favorite, but name one excellent musical artist that you enjoy.
Adam Lambert.
Who is your poker nemesis?
Alan Kessler.
What about an open face sandwich? Is an open face sandwich a sandwich?
No.
All right, that was excellent. I've got one more question for you. What's one thing that we can do as a community to make poker more fun?
I think to be a little more social at the table, ask people about themselves and introduce yourself if there's a player that you don't know at the table.
All right, great answers. I'm looking at the math here. I get to 714 points. That's an excellent score, Lupe. Congratulations. In the low 700s. That's not a lot of people get up that high. Way to go. Nicely done.
Okay. I don't know what I pointed, well, how you scored it, but okay.
It's a proprietal system. It's very private. It's very scientific. It's kind of informed by the Clive Anderson of Whose Line Is It Anyway school of point scoring. But that's all I can say, or else the lawyers will be on me immediately.
Okay.
Yeah. But congratulations is all I mean to say.
Okay.
Lupe Soto. So we're going to make sure that we've got your Twitter handle, lupesoto.com, pokergives.org, and WPA links in the show notes. Is there anything
Okay.
else that you want people to know how to reach you or how to contact somebody or how to help out? Is there anything else that you want to just give one last plug for before we let you go?
Well, I think that's really good. But if you need to reach me personally, I do wear many hats and I have a lot of ins to a whole lot of areas. So if you need something and you're really curious about something and you'd like to know more about it or whatever, it's so easy to find me. It's Lupe at lupesoto.com.
There you go. And so just a lot of really, really great feedback in the YouTube chat here today. Some folks being very thankful for what you've brought to the poker world and also agreeing that you have great taste in poker rooms. Eric Ebsen, also a big fan of the mixed games at Resorts World. Lots of really good women players there in particular. So that's fantastic. Lupe Soto, thank you so much. I look forward to
My
seeing you in
pleasure.
December. And I'm
Yeah.
going to stack you again if I get the chance. I'm coming after those chips. Don't doubt it. It's cost me
Don't
another
play the mixed
cocktail.
games, honey, because then game on.
Thank you so much,
Thank
Lupe.
you.
This was a pleasure.
Thank you all.
All right, well, we're going to talk about some upcoming fantastic events. We're going to announce some home game winners. We're going to give out some prizes. Our one and only John Somsky is away. He had a work emergency, and as you know, we're all recreational players here, so we've got day jobs, or some of us are retired. Rob and Kim. Okay, a lot of lucky people in the room right now. But let's just whip through some of these. On November 25th, Larson's opening, George Borden was the victor. I'm not going to try and understand all the cryptic notes and dates that John has after the winners, but congratulations, George. K Poker Wannabe took home the crown on November 26th. Way to go, Ron. On November 27th, my old roommate, now then KB. Oh, I see his name is private, so I'll just say I've had lots of roommates. No one knows who that could be, but congratulations, Doug. Um, on November 28th, Ket Geek coming through with a win. No surprises there. On the 29th, Poker Geek MN himself, the one and only John Somsky, must have rigged it somehow. We'll look into that, folks. Don't worry. We're not going to let that one go unexamined. Mike B172, that's Mike Bear, took home the bacon on November 30th in the nightly tournament. And on November 27th, he also rocked it in the mixed game event. So congratulations to Mike Bear, winning not only the mixed game, but also the No Limit Hold'em events that week. And this always warms my heart. I see our international events. These are a little earlier in the day on Saturday so that our folks across the pond and in Europe and Asia and Australia can join without it being in the middle of the night. And I love it when those are won by international members, and they were this week. Tron Vidar Stensby took home the early international event, and our very own Joe Rafter, who's here in the chat tonight, I think, took home the afternoon one. So congratulations, Joe and Tron. And no surprise here, on the Learn Pro Poker Sunday tournament, Stewie 13, our own Stuart Carriage, who just cannot stop winning. He's been on a great roll recently, one of Kim Kilroy's Poker Friends Forever. Congratulations, Stu. Way to go to all our winners. And so, Stu, you're aware of this, but if folks aren't at home, everyone who wins our Sunday tournament also wins a free month at Learn Pro Poker. That's right, folks. The tournaments are free to enter. They're play money, but the prizes are real. So it's not just awesome pins like these bad boys available for you as a winner, but you can also get some real cool prizes like a free month at Learn Pro Poker. And congratulations for that. So the last thing I'll say about our home game club is that coming up in December, on December 21st, the third Saturday of the month, is our heads up match. So we do 3 of these a year, and the winner wins their way in to Marek Madness, which is right around the corner. It's going to be here before you know it, if you can believe it. It's super fun. It's a great heads up experience. We get some celebrities, some poker fans, some Rec Poker members, some Wrecking Crew members. Taylor Moss is the guy that makes it all happen. We're lucky to have him, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So on December 21st, make sure you're around for that. And because that is a heads up ladder bracket style tournament, late registration is not permitted. So you really have to be there. I think it's at 2 p.m. Eastern, but double check the website calendar. All this stuff's on the website calendar. And
I just want to point out that, I know that the pins are important, but winning the Marek challenge is really the feather in your cap that propels you.
true.
I think.
Oh, thanks, Joe. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Joe Coolis is very.
Who won last year? Who won that last
I
year?
don't know. I'd have to look it up.
It's called Marek Madness.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah, and congratulations to whoever that was. If they're able to hear this right now, congratulations to them. And then I want to mention that again throughout the month of December, we're giving away. We're not giving it away. I mean, we're kind of giving it away. If you want to join premium membership here at Rec Poker, of course, we have a bunch of free resources. But it's the naughty or nice sale. Santa has been watching. He's checking his list. He's making his list. He's checking it twice. That's how it works. So if you've been nice, please give us a try. You can enter the word nice at checkout and get your first month for only $1. And folks, I know you're gonna find some valuable stuff here in the Rec Poker Premium membership for only $1. Even if we do take kind of a slow week off around the holidays, that's still 3 awesome weeks of poker, great stuff happening here for $1. And if you've been naughty, I mean, I don't know what'll happen, but I'm hoping that there's some nice people out there that can try the word nice at checkout and get their first month for only $1. Rob?
Even when we're not being social on Zoom and all the other things that we do, there's still so much content out there that's already existing that you could spend that whole week and not even catch up.
Great point. That's a great point. We do have an archive of training videos that goes back to 2021, 2020, something like that. It's pretty expansive. There is a lot of amazing stuff in there. So if you want to head into 2025 with a little more poker chops under your belt, this is a good time to join our premium membership and take your game to the next level. I've still got several training sessions, coaching sessions with Matt Affleck to do. There's 2 of them this week. If you're a live listener, you can get in on the action on Tuesday morning and on Friday morning. And some of those, I mean, boy, all the videos of those sessions are available in our archive as well. There's some really high level stuff in there. I would encourage folks, give us a try for $1. I assure you, you're going to find some good value there. Before we give away a prize to benefit a local food bank, Joe Coolis, why don't you talk a little bit about this fantastic idea that you came up with and you have done all the work for. Full credit to Joe Coolis. This is great.
Oh, well, thank you. I mean, it's been enjoyable. So look, you can see you've been pestered by all my postings on the Discord. I've been trying to hit Twitter and a lot of different other places, but basically the idea is that I went out and just started asking the poker community to give us stuff that was different, stuff that people would be very, very interested in bidding on, things that you can't just go to a store and purchase. And I started with Dara's shirt. You know how he likes to wear shirts and say, hey, I'm gonna wear a different funky colored shirt when I play. And he had hundreds of them. And I said, can we have one? He said, okay. And he signed it and he's willing to send it. We have Andrew Brokus is going to do a doodle of you in one of his books in addition to signing it. We have the Golden Blazer from the Golden Blazer. I mean, did you really ever expect that you would be able to own the Golden Blazer? Well, you get to wear these sorts of things. And it just goes on and on. Slow Poker has donated the shirt that he wore on Max Payne Monday. And where he won, and he's willing to sign that and give you some of the chip protectors or card protectors that he had. So we have a lot of quirky stuff. In addition, we also have a lot of more traditional things like poker training. So Lexi Gavin Mathers has donated one of her poker accelerators, and actually that already has a bid on it. And then Brian LaPlante has donated what I call the pile of poker training and poker coaching, I think. and he's donated just a number of months that you can bid on. The bids are starting small, $25, right? You don't have to be always watching. You can put your maximum bid in, and if people outbid you, things will go up. You don't have to wait until the end to say, well, you know what, this is really what is the top of what I want to pay. So you can go there, put it in, and then end up having the highest bid and help really give money to a pretty important cause. And as Jim has said all the way along, I'm not taking a dime from this, right? None of the poker players are taking a dime for any of the materials. RecPoker is not taking any money from it. Or we may have to pay a processing fee, but you can even actually pay that processing fee as a part of your bid. And everything else is going to food. And that's where we wanted it to be, was to go to food. So please, it's the holidays. Tomorrow is what's called Giving Tuesday. Everybody knows about Black Friday. Everybody knows about Cyber Monday, right? So we were all buying stuff today. Tomorrow is the day when we start thinking about, well, what can we buy for other people? And this is an opportunity to buy for yourself, but also give some money to some people that really, really need it. So bid early, bid often, and I hope to see you there.
And Joe, this episode of the podcast comes out on Friday, December 6th. So even if you're listening to this that weekend, you've still got a whole week. I believe the auction closes on December 17th. So you've got tons of time. Head on over to rec.poker/auction. We've also put the link in the show notes here. And go check that out and there's some very, very cool stuff in there. Yeah, Eric's mentioned in the YouTube chat. I am also giving away some trade secrets when it comes to sandwich making. There is some poker coaching involved, but the real nuggets of wisdom are on the sandwich front. So there's a lot of value there, I think.
Anybody?
And I'll take the other side of that. Maybe you've got some poker friends that would really enjoy Daro Carney's shirt for Christmas or for the holidays. You can make a little donation, do some good here, and make like a new best friend forever, because that's the kind of thing that seals the. I still wish Andrew Brokus was actually including some trimmings from his beard, but the doodle in the book, I think that's still pretty nice. I think that's going to be.
I asked. He said it was kind of creepy, and I kind of agree.
Chris, the YouTube chat mentioned that they couldn't hear you say that, but I think we'll catch it in the actual audio that goes out in the episode. But yeah, for the YouTube chatters, Chris is just saying, make yourself king of your poker friends by being the guy that shows up with all this cool stuff. There's all sorts of good reasons to get involved in charity auction. All right. Last thing I'm going to mention here, and again, thanks, Joe. I'm so appreciative of your work with this. This is a wonderful, wonderful effort. The other thing that I'm super excited about, Rec Poker Weekend at Running Aces is right around the corner. We got the dates. So there are tournaments on Friday, January 30th, 31st? Oh, God. 30 there are 31 days in January. On the Friday the 31st there will be some poker tournaments. There's some special tournaments then, and on February 1st, this Saturday, there's going to be some giveaways. There's going to be some prizes. We're definitely going to raise some money for a local food bank. That one's the Second Harvest Heartland, which is a great organization that functions out of Minnesota in particular. I'm going to fly in on Thursday night and out on Sunday. So I'm also hoping to have maybe some social events on Thursday night, a dinner, some drinks, maybe a cash game, Sunday morning, at least like coffee and breakfast, something like that. So if folks are interested, we're also going to try and get some discount rates for the hotel rooms at Running Aces. So I think that'll be a great opportunity to folks to come out and have some fun and meet a lot of your favorite Wrecking Crew members. It's going to be a great weekend, and I just really enjoy that weekend so much. So the last weekend in January / the first weekend in February, don't miss that. All right, gang. Oh yeah, so let's give away a fantastic prize and roll on out of here. So I'm counting John Doe, Eric Ebsen, Joe Rafter, K Poker Wannabe, and Eric Anderson. That's 5 So, Chris, if you want to roll a six-sider, I will donate $20 to a local food bank. If we roll a six, who is the winner this week?
It's a 4.
It's a 4, so I get 1, 2, 3. K-Poker Wannabe, Ron, congratulations, man. Um, I think you've actually won a free month at RecPoker. Is that right, Rob Washam? You're in charge of all this stuff.
That is true. And if you're already a member, we can do one of two things. We can give you a rebate on the month, or we could sign you up for one of our learning partners. And we'll, after you email info@rec.poker, we can make that determination.
Yep, there you go. So congratulations, K-Poker Wannabe. Thanks for playing. Thanks to everyone else for playing. I love that we can support a local food bank in this little way just by giving away a prize, and gets me the ability to say the word food bank, food bank, food bank about 30 times in an episode. So way to go there. With nothing else to add, I'll just remind our listeners, if you're watching live, premium members are welcome to join me and the crew in a few minutes. If you check out the website calendar, we will be recording the strategy forums edition of the podcast in just a few minutes. So this was a very good conversation, but there wasn't a lot of poker strategy. If you're into more of the poker strat, join us for the forums conversations. Those are really fun, and we're gonna have some fun with that. And I got to thank the wonderful folks over at Running Aces. If you go to runaces.com, you can find out more info from them. If you like what we're doing and want to help us out, like I mentioned, go to rec.poker/support. We also have a fantastic Patreon offering where just for a few bucks a month, you can just buy us a cup of coffee. But for $10 a month, you can get almost all of our premium training videos downloaded to your phone as an audio podcast, basically sort of like a premium podcast. And you can kind of listen along and learn on the go. So lots of ways to get involved, lots of ways to help us out and help yourself out at the same time. So without further ado, I would love to thank Lupe Soto, Kim Kilroy, Rob Washam, Joe Coolis, and Chris Jones. All the other Wrecking Crew members that can't be here tonight, our premium members, our community members, our YouTube chatters, and you, the audience at home. We couldn't do it without you. Have a great night. We'll see you next week on the RecPoker Podcast. Good night, everybody.